and Jug. We've seen Jug Mag a couple of times. Adroit could opt for one of those.
Adroit, their third pickup now. Should mention, by the way, as well, John, I realize we were laughing a lot that game. We do respect all these players, just so you go. I mean, we're clearly just joking around. I mean, we know these players are infinitely better than we are at the game.
Of course.
We're not trying to make fun of them. We're trying to have fun with them. Just anyone that was getting a bit upset, you know, we're just having a laugh. Don't you worry. Big love to all these players, John. I wish the best on them, of course.
Of course.
I wish the best for them, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking with Boomy. We were talking about like his choice of drink. He agreed upon the same drink with me, and I offered to have a drink. It's like, it's two local beers, two different kinds. There's like this camp in the Philippines, like, you know, you take one side or the other. Like with you and VB, you know, you tell me VB's not good. It's the same kind of argument here between these two brands. We both like the same ones. I'm like, yeah, Boomy, let's go out in a year. You know? Way down the line, maybe we'll go out for a drink.
Boomy's gonna remember you laughing last game. He's gonna remember it for a full year. And one day you're just gonna be having a beer with him. Everything's gonna be fine, and just gonna just give you a bit of a love tap. You know what I mean? You're just gonna. I remember that time you were laughing at my carry, johnxfire. You're not gonna get away with that. Not while I'm supporting him. No.
Yeah, that's gonna be the day. Still, look at that. They do actually pick up the Abaddon. We just mentioned it, but now you've got this Purge for the lasso. They've got a way to kind of break up that initiation from Boom. Boom, though, you love this. Drow Tusk comes out. The multi-shot plus tag team. The slowest that you can get out, the control, and the damage looking pretty good here for Boom in the laning phase. Going into the late, it's pretty nice with a Drow. We've got to see what they pull out here for Drew Musal first. I think that's the for Mikado. That's what we're missing. But Adroit Ricky comes in, so there's their Magnus combo, and I think that's pretty potent. Like the silence is killer. You've got gap close to jump the Drow. It's all really potent here for the Ricky to start chopping heads off early on.
That it is. I do really like this Ricky pickup into this draft. I think it is very strong here for Adroit. By the way, apologies to anyone wondering why it looks so smoky behind me. For anyone that hasn't followed us for a while, John, it may or may not have been because I was vaping again. It's I tend to forget to open the window behind me, so it gets a bit smoky in here. Don't you worry about it. I guess it's like I'm training in the hyperbolic time chamber, John. I'm filling my room up with vape. What do you call it? Vapor, I guess. So my lungs get adjusted to, that humid environment. Just getting really ready one day when the pandemic's over and SCA LAN will be around. And I'm ready for that humidity, John. I'm ready for it. You tell me all the time SCA is very humid, very tropical.
It is.
I'm ready for it, sir.
That's good. That's good. The heat is killer. I'm just glad to hear it's not truck fumes from your neighbor. I'm just really glad it's not that,
He has stopped, believe it or not.
Has he? Outstanding.
The truck's not on anymore. I'm not sure if he ran out of diesel for it or something. It could just be completely dead. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the neighbors literally went and forced him to turn it off because it was on for like 8 hours straight, but it's gone now, John. Very, very good news. Still, final banouts to come. I feel like we haven't talked about the draft at all. Adroit, as I said, I think their draft is looking quite nice, if I'm perfectly honest. I like the Abaddon pick as well. I think there's going to be a lot of things that they can get done with this Aphotic Shield, mostly being the cancellation of the lasso, of course. Just stopping that lasso altogether with the Aphotic Shield, but you can also purge off the silence from the Drow Ranger. You can't really do much up against the Shadow Demon, but you can block off a decent amount of damage with that Aphotic Shield. So it is a very nice pick here for Adroit. Obviously also helps out the Ricky as well in a way, right? Because the Ricky, already a very slippery hero, and having that Aphotic Shield in the background is going to make it that much harder to actually secure a kill on this position 1 Ricky.
Yeah, it's going to be something that enables Adroit to play faster, and I think that's what they sort of lacked in game 1. I think you're going to expect more activity here. They even go out with the Darkseer, so it's
What? Is Is this the I Iron Show my Ricky and he runs and stalks somebody and just kills them slowly but surely build up? I love it.
Yeah, it's possible. It does take level 6 now to do that with your Ricky.
Yes.
So they're gonna have to sit out for that, but you can do that. And again, you can keep track of Drown out. I'm
But
not
he-
sure if Boom's the kind of team to not notice that.
But hear me out, John.
You know.
What if? I know you're thinking Ricky Diffusal Blade, right? But what if
Okay.
we forget about that and rush a Radiance and really amplify that damage? We get Radiance, Iron Shell, and we just follow people the whole game. How good would that be?
We're taking this to real deep pub territory here, Mike.
Yeah.
That is deep
Yeah,
into
I'm
the
going.
pubs there.
I'm going to the 2K bracket, John. I'm really thinking, where do we go with this build up? Like,
Oh, my
I've
God.
probably tried that before. I'm not gonna lie. Like back in the day, I've been playing the game for 15 years, John. At some stage, I would have tried to do that on this Ricky pick.
Oh.
Is it plausible?
No. I'll have to say a hard no, but it's MCY. He is open to very experimental builds. We'll
I
see
like
if
it.
that's the option here. The laning here for Adroit's looking pretty interesting, right? Like it's a Ricky up against a Night Stalker. I honestly think that's a pretty decent lane for the Night Stalker. Like he's got high regen as well. The Ricky
Yep.
does have the mobility, but you potentially got a Shadow Demon to help you set up, or a Tusk, or maybe an early tri lane here. So we'll see if Boom is going to focus on the first nighttime to start bullying out. You still have that combo, as you mentioned, with the Darkseer and the Ricky, and even the Abaddon and Photic Shield just while chasing down. You've got this great empower target for Mac, and he does have the ghostly Magnus in place, so that's looking good. Boomy
Wait.
is on his snap.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it was. I was like, wait a minute. Boomy went from normal mag to ghost mag, but yeah, Mac's playing it now. Mac's
Yeah,
got the
they- they-
cosmetic. Mac's been
they
playing
swapped
Diet
that.
Tide, John. Good on Mac.
Yeah, he's been having fun. And look, Boomy on the snap, I think that's a different playstyle. Like we tend to see Boomy on greedy heroes. When he's on his snap, it is a little bit more selfish. Like we're talking about maybe the mech rush comes into play here, but you can expect a little bit more activity from Boomy compared to how passive it was while they were waiting for the blink from his Magnus. Not as much of an issue there. So you can expect better farm distribution. And because of that, you can expect better timings here for Adroit, kind of fixing one of the issues we had in game 1. I think that's going to take care of a few of those timing issues there because they waited so long. They should be able to bring a good fight here against Boom. Boom, for their part, there's always that constant worry of the Abaddon here for Mikado, right? Like the initiation's going to be pretty complex. They've got to choose their targets right. They have to know where CML is all the time, and that's not something you can necessarily get done, especially when you're playing against a Ricky that can scout forward. So vision gain of Boom has to be on point, and there's potential here to run down early with how strong they are in lane, but there's also potential for Adroit to just counteract them at every single step as well.
See how this all pans out. I'm
30 seconds.
very intrigued with these two drafts. See what does come out of this game number 2. Also, Adroit do have another series straight after this up against TNC, the good old-fashioned Rumbulan, John, or Rumbulan. Excuse me.
There you go. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, I've been working on my Filipino, John. I've been really trying to get the pronunciation right of these words.
Good on
I
you.
think I'm almost there, sir. Almost there.
Yeah, it's pretty good, Mike. Pretty good still.
Really working on the rolling R's as well. The Rambulan.
Yeah, there you go. Rambulan. Yeah.
Rambulan. Yes.
Oh, chat's gonna love it. No. Oof. That's exactly it. And
Top lane. FBZ gonna copper scatter blast to the back. MCY still there, but now they're gonna try and turn. And they won't be able to get too much done up against MCY. It's gonna be just fine to run out with Boomy. However, down at the bot lane, Kescu does still have his tag team. They will go onto CML now. Dream Missile behind with the follow-up damage. CML tries to Fairy Fire. He will not get away. Dream Missile able to take the kill. Great start for the side of Boom Esports.
And that's what you want to see, because this lane is not getting any easier for Dreamcell. Iron Child spams in play, not a very tanky hero up front, so gonna have to watch his spacing. Very important that they found a first blood, and that is gonna slow down Adroit just for a bit. Now, level 2, level 3 spikes are big for Adroit though, so you will have to watch that spike on the Darkseer, on the Abaddon. They can kind of play around. Just have to be cautious to reduce spacing. Now, Nico is out of mana. This is a pretty big window, but he has the mangoes out. Still CML and not going to be safe.
No, he's not. Was looking over to that mid lane for a second, John. Makoto is going to be up there, up against Mac. Very hard lane for Mac on the mag. There's really not much he can do up against the Batrider. Makoto has hit that level 2 mark now as well, so can go for the Firefly or the W. I always forget the Flame Break. That's what it's called. With that sticky napalm stack, it is going to be an extremely hard lane for Mac. He doesn't even have Skewer yet as well, which is what really scares me here for him. Is if he doesn't level up Skewer, or at least 1 point in it, Makoto can just get Firefly at this level 3 mark and just chase him down for the kill.
I think the tricky thing with the matchup here for the Magnus is that if you get Skewer, but you already have stacks of Napalm, you are not going to get a good spin. Right? You're not going to get the good turn rate to go around, Skewer back to safety. You're going to be forced to maybe go for an aggressive Skewer forward to just break it off a bit. And that's never good. And man, I hate this. I'm looking at Mac. Every time he gets sticky Napalm, he just turns white. Like textureless, pure white. That's
nothing wrong with white, John.
No, but there's no textures. It's just busted.
Oh,
Valve, please.
You always find a way to complain about Valve. You know that, John? Every time, without a doubt, you find a way to complain.
Someone's got to do it, Mike, and it's not going to be you.
Oh,
it's got to be me.
That is true, John. I want a job with Valve in the future. Top lane. Boomy is going to be there up against Hyde. Boomy, nice cookie out with a scatter blast onto the Shadow Demon, but Hyde is very focused in on making sure he gets the small camp as well as the wave, and he pretty much gets all of it. But Boomy is going to keep up the chase, and MCY wants to blink in for a nice easy kill, and he will be able to get it. However, down at the bot lane, CML also dies to Dreamer Cell. So both position ones find themselves a nice pick-off.
Yeah, they're just finding the support kills here, both sides. Gonna be happy with a start, and I feel like that does benefit our Riki just a bit more. Riki with earlier farms, as you mentioned, the timings are a lot tighter. The build-up into the defusal is a lot more important for Riki compared to the initial Dragonlance Massive Madness rush for Drow. So the fact that MCY is allowed to find this is pretty big news for Adroit. They just need to keep that spacing up, need to keep that control up. They are in a good position, Boom, though, to take control of these runes, and Adroit don't quite have the movement out from their supports. That's going to hurt them a bit in that mid lane.
Mac is really copping it here in this mid lane. Just can't catch him. He might actually die now. Makoto, he's going to go for the Illusion Rune, and Mac will be able to preemptively skewer away. He wasn't going to risk being around for that Firefly and Flame Break out from Makoto. And so while he is avoiding dying, he's not really getting as much farm as he'd want. Still, MCY able to pick up another kill, this time onto FBZ. So this Riki lane is going very nicely so far for Adroit.
Yeah, it's just got so much presence. They're finding all those kills, and they're finding that, and they're also pressuring Dream Assault. So even if they lost those couple of deaths down bot, it's now not a very safe lane for a Drow.
Hyde is going to be okay to run, but Dreamer Soul is going to die to Nico. CML does die in response, but Kezcute is being chased down by Nico with that Iron Shell. He's going to have to surge away, but the Snowball's going to follow him up. Nico, does he want to turn around? Not quite. Chance going to be out onto our Darkseer as he tries to reach the Bounty Rune. His arms aren't long enough though, John. Makoto is going to come in, and he was really reaching for it through that ice. You can feel it, but Darkseer has very short arms.
Quite unfortunate, but overall, I think Boom not going to be too pleased about that. They still drop Dream Assault for that exchange. That is still a win for Adroit overall. That does, force Mikado to move around as well, and this is the point where Adroit can actually use this time to jungle well. Mac can just dip in. He's got level 3 Empower. You do not have wards here from Boom. That's going to be a bit of an issue. They've been on point with tracking the farming patterns of Adroit in Game 1. This game, it looks like they might be slipping up a bit. You do not want to risk that fast timing on Mac. He's going to be looking for those RP engagements. And again, you've got the Riki. So as soon as you get the RP, MCY, as long as he has his 6 and maybe his 2 rate bands up, he is going to look for those opportunities, and you can bet Adroit is going to want to play fast around that timing.
Absolutely. So, Mac, currently in the fountain, is going to TP back towards the tier 2 tower in that mid lane, so he's just going to go to the jungle now on that Magnus. Not going to waste any more time up against the Bat Rider. And all props to Mac, by the way, John. I mean, considering the lane he's had, he's farming very well now. 37 and 5 on the Magnus. Not really struggling in terms of CS. And while Makoto's had a pretty free lane, you wonder how much influence he's going to have as this Bat Rider. In fact, RP comes out. The Firefly not really doing too much yet, but Makoto now going to turn back around for a lasso onto that Snapfire, but there was no chance of a kill really occurring unless Hyde can get some more damage out with that Shadow Poison, but it looks like they are going to be alright, and Adroit, they will all survive for another day.
Yeah, I think this is it's a pretty good trade for Adroit. They did have to pop RP, but I don't think Mac was looking to use it anyway for any sort of fight without the blink. So you trade it out, you're going to go back to farming anyway. The lasso loss hurts Boom just a bit more, but Mikado's just perfectly fine. He's got some stacks to play with, so he also has access to his jungle. And neither side is going to be hunting that down. I think that's going to be a big issue. Both mids are going to find that flash farm. And nighttime's up, so FBZ is looking to run around here.
He is. Boomy, going to be okay to run out. FBZ looks like he'll just concentrate on dishing out some damage to that tier 1 top tower. The same will happen here from Adroit down at the bot lane. They will go after that bottom tier 1. We think we'll be just fine. Just trying to go for those direct trades. It's like Dreamer Soul is going to join FBZ there as well in the drought. He's slowly but surely working towards that Dragon Lance and does almost have it up. MCY has got the treads on the Courier on the way, I believe, and is just working towards that Diffusal Blade on the Riki. So everything is pretty standard here for both two teams. Nothing too surprising going on. Though I must admit, John, for Boom Esports' sake, I do get a little bit concerned about when this Riki does have the Diffusal Blade time. So it does feel like they are going to be quite easy pickings for MCY.
They definitely will be, especially while these 4 staffs aren't up yet. So that's going to be something that basically you're going to need on Dreamocell, you're going to want on Hyde, and probably even Kescute. You need those 4 staffs to get out of the smoke, get yourself in a good spot. And it's a bit slow going for Boom. Again, they're playing a farming game, but Adroit does have the Magnus, and they haven't really controlled the jungle. They've got a forward ward now, but they've already gotten maximum value already on. So I don't think Adroit's going to mind too much. They've got space in the bottom jungle to play with, and they're hunting Mikado. Like, MCY is just keeping track of the farming patterns. It's never just a free ride for the farm, and you've always got to be a bit worried about the Riki starting to really farm up here.
A 1k net worth lead here for Boom Esports. Mac getting close to that Blink Dagger timing. 10-minute bounty runes are about to spawn up, however, so are we going to see a contest over those? Doesn't really look like it. Just Adroit down at the bot lane have secured their own, and Boom Esports will do the exact same thing up at the top lane, just take their own bounty runes and leave it at that. Neither team wanting to fight yet, both of them quite confident in just farming up, but Makoto now does spawn out CML, is going to go in with the Firefly. CML still not level 6, is very susceptible to dying right now, but Makoto, he'll commit the lasso, trying to go for this kill, but now MCY is going to jump in onto the Bat Rider. Mac, thinking about an RP, does not commit. That's going to be another lasso being wasted here.
It's not the result you'd want for Boom, but you can see how cautious Mikado is when throwing it out. He has to wait for the shield first, and he's going for these unideal targets. It's not an easy game for the Bat Rider, which is why that Abaddon pick was so important for Adroit. It's enabling them to apply that pressure. It's forcing Boom to play a slower game. They are still finding farm, and in that sense, you know, Dreamcell has gotten a lot of space out, but the Magnus Riki is starting to pull ahead. You know, Empower is starting to play a big part in that farm escalation. They're looking to set their eyes towards mid, and they're probably not going to commit fully, but this is forcing Boom to at least show where Kescute is, so that means your Tusk is not hunting around, you're not finding openings to really abuse, and Adroit might just actually commit now.
That they may. Max got the Blink Dagger up on the Korea, but Boom Esports, they want to get started onto Nico. They will get the Darkseer, and now the lasso back out onto the Snapfire. They've got control onto CML to boot, and that'll be 3-0. That tier 1 mid tower does still stay strong. Looks like the rest of Adroit, they've just got to get back to farming. I mean, they've just got such a nice power spike with that Diffusal Blade. You'd rather just wait for that to be up, unless you see a huge RP opportunity.
Yeah, it's hard to get that RP opportunity without the Darkseer, although the respawns are short, so they might have time.
They're going to try. CY blinking forward, but Dream Missile had the gust out. He blinks in, but this is very dangerous. Still, the side of Boom don't want to fight into it, so Kescute, he'll go for a run away, but they do have the control out. So they do get themselves something for their trouble. But it will only be the support Tusk.
Yeah, it's not a good pickup, considering they trade their mid-tier 1, but Adroit, with the numbers advantage, do want to still go back. So they're going to go back for the mid-tier 1 themselves and maybe find something.
FPZ is silenced up. MCY feeling confident now. Will go after the Night Stalker and does get another. 4-0-0 on the Riki so far. And in terms of that Diffusal Blade, he's just about 700-800 gold away from it.
Yeah, and that's going to be the big spike they're looking for. They do manage to trade evenly on objectives, so now you're happy if you're Adroit. Net worth lead drops to it drops to around 2k. They smoke up, but they still figuring out where to go. It looks like invading the triangle. They are a bit blind here, so they're not really informed as to what location would be good.
CY keeping up vision, but he's underneath the sentry ward right now, and he's going to get gusted up. Kescute with the Walrus Punch as well. The Snowball out. The Silence, they have as much control as they need. And now on to CML. Gonna pop the borrowed time. Meanwhile, Makoto chasing Boomy in the back lines, looking for a lasso and does get it. CML still in trouble as well, is going to die on this Abaddon, and so is Boomy. Nice proactive approach there from Makoto to go into the backlines and find the Snapfire every single fight. You just never see any kind of real usage of the Snapfire because Makoto is always on top, making sure he never feels comfortable.
Yeah, and this team fight for Adroit, again, they were in an offensive spot, but they didn't manage to play with their RP wall combination. That's the big one we're waiting for. It's very potent for Adroit, but those were just 3 heroes up front, and they're not coordinated. They need to all be on the same page. When you draft Magnus, Darkseer, Riki, you have got to use those teamfight spells. And it looks like max ID right now is still wait for the Echo Saber, which is fair, but the rest of the team has to be on the same page. You can't expect your Riki to just walk around like this under sentries and secure kills with just the kisses flying out. It's way too hard. They couldn't even clean up Dreamosol, who basically just stood in like majority of the kisses. So they've got to be a bit cautious, but they're not too far behind still. I think when you see the scoreboard 10-5 but only 2k ahead, Adroit is still working this map well. They're still finding some key spikes. They've got the mech up in Nico. We know how potent Darkseer can get once you do have Guardian Greaves plus Pipe Up. You're going to be sustaining your entire team for so long. And I'm not sure if this is on purpose, but Nico's clipped a couple of neutrals. You could start stacking up like that if he wants.
I saw that. That's actually Arteezy, John. It's Halloween, and he's dressed up as a wolf. And he hasn't left home yet. He's just chilling out there. Hey, Arteezy. How you doing? It is Halloween after all, John. I know we're on the 2nd, but they... Wait, what day is Halloween? I can't even remember now. Never mind. Nico. Lasso is going to be onto the Riki, or rather, the Darkseer, excuse me. They do get Nico.
Yeah, it's slowing down those pacing to the Oral Dome.
Kescute, Snowball. Back, gonna to be in danger, needs to find a big RP here for his team. Isn't going to have his blink up yet, as now they do go on to Kezcute, but he's going to just run away. Mac now, Skewer is going to be back onto the task, and they will get Kezcute. However, FBZ onto Boomy does help kill one. CML with the borrowed time is already active. They're still trying to fight this one out. Mac, he does have the RP, but he's not allowed to blink. Makoto and Kezcute were just making sure that whole time that the blink was not available on Mac, and he never got the RP off.
Yeah, and it's just, again, a bit of a scattered fight for Adroit. They end up splitting up their team 3-2. One on the three on the upper ground, 2 on the low ground chasing by the ramp. And they don't get the RP wall combo. They need to fly that out, but every time it doesn't, they just don't win these fights. And now the Roche could potentially just drop. Oh,
I hear an RP. In the mid lane, it seems Makoto was caught. He's not dead yet, however. Skewer's gonna miss Makoto. Oh, he's dodging like a god. He gets out of there. Kezcute gonna go for the Walrus Punch on Mac. Doesn't quite kill him off. But Makoto, woo, that was some nice sidestepping from him. It was, I don't even know what to call it, John. It was just great.
yeah, it really was. And Adroit, I don't know about that. Like, I get that one-man RPs are great. They needed to find a kill, though. The follow-up, again, wasn't there. The kisses alone are just not enough. Your Boomy's at level 8. He's not going to find the level 2 kisses anytime soon. He is rushing his Ags as well, because the Orb build is coming out from their Darkseer. So that's fair enough. But, again, it's such a slow build-up from the pause 4 roll. They're not able to give Boomy as much space as possible, and if they want to play the farming game, Boom is actually having a decent time with it. Dreamocell's still #1 in that fort. The Hurricane, the Dragonlance is up into the Hurricane Pike, which again is super important against that Riki, and that's going to take away the potency of the smoke, and they are smoked up.
On to Nico, it seems, or maybe not. Lasso in the mid lane. They found an even better target. They've got Mac there, and with the silence out from FBZ, there was no hope of him skewering out. And in fact, they even found Nico. He is surged away, however, but Makoto just going to body block him up as FBZ gets him with the slow. They have the arrows now to fly out. A nice vacuum wall is there, but do they have the follow-up? Nico, he's still going to be able to run away. That'll pretty much be it. Still a nice little engagement there for Boom Esports. They'll go after that top tier 2 tower now.
Yeah, they've got no worries. Like, they've already got the Ags up here on FBZ, so he's got the AoE Void, which is super useful against those illusions from the wall.
FBZ, he gets his crippling fear off in time before the smokescreen came out from MCY, and now he wants to try and turn. Hyde gets a disruption. Mac is rushing in. He does have that RP up, but Hyde is well and truly out of there, or maybe he's not. The Mortimer's Kisses are flying in, and now Dreamocell has been pounced on by MCY. Tricks of the Trade will be there. They're trying to get the RP off in this Drow. They won't need it, though. The Aegis is down, and boom, they need to try and fight right here, right now. Onto Mac they go. They'll get one. Back to MCY. He's trying to run here on this Riki, but he can't go anywhere. There is nowhere to go for him. He will Tricks of the Trade, though. Try to juke them out, but there is no chance. Now Snowball going after Nico. Flame Break is going to connect there from Makoto, and Nico is just stuck. The ice will not melt fast enough here for our Darkseer. He does die, and it's a full team wipe. And Boom Esports, they get away with everyone alive. Nobody died, apart from that Aegis death on Dreamocell.
Yeah, they're still working it out. And again, you see the hesitation from Adroit to get the RP. This is perfect positioning from Boom. They're always split up. There's no opportunity for Adroit to get that team fight that they're looking for. They just can't line up the big RPs into the wall with the kisses flying out. It's just so staggered because of how Boom is playing this. And Adroit need to force Boom in a spot where they are clumped up. They need to find a way to kind of herd them into a very tight spot and kind of bait them into that. It's just that Boom's just so smart, so disciplined right now. Adroit, they are still finding some good build-up. MCY, Mike, look at that build-up on our Riki. Gonna be a BKB next for MCY.
Impossible.
Big turnaround.
It is a big turnaround, actually. I mean, Ironically enough, this might be the game where he probably shouldn't buy it. But there you go. So, I mean, they've got the lasso there. They've got the walrus punch. I don't know anymore with these BKBs, John. I'm just gonna let. I don't know what else to say anymore about. I mean, it's a good pickup, I guess, right? Like he's worried about disruption and gust. I thought you'd rather Manta, if I'm honest, because the lasso is there with the walrus punch to go through the BKB. I thought Manta might be the better option just to purge off silences, but I guess Manta will not purge off crippling fear, so it makes enough sense.
Yeah. It's been a big spanner in the works every time FBC's up front. And look at this. They are trying to chase Dreamer's Hell, but there's a smoke from behind.
A nice lasso out from Makoto. Hyde can disrupt the backlines, make sure they can't follow up. CML could not help him out with the Aphonic Shield, and now they rush him. No buyback gold available on our Ricky at the moment, and that means CML will just kind of be left to die here. In fact, it could be even more. CML, he actually gets out, but no, Hyde has the Shadow Poison, and now with the disruption onto Mac, we'll be forcing him to skewer out. And that'll be it. They're not going to commit to the high ground, but they are going to get some nice pickoffs. It's back to the triangle for the side of Boom Esports.
I like that conservative play. Like, it may look like they're super far ahead, but they respect the power of that RP. They know that the respawn timers are super low. So they know Adroit still has an opportunity to come back. All they need is one big RP. Your Ricky's ready to rip through with the tricks of trade and the empower. You might not have had wall because Nico did blow it in the lower ground, but they are very good in the high ground. And that's something Boom has to be very cautious about. They're taking the safer approach. They know they've got control of the map, just maximizing that farm, waiting for more items to come in. You're going to have a BKB up on FBZ relatively soon. It's still early on, but they do have enough space to get that farm built up. You're also going to have a blink out in Kesgut for some saving plays. And that's another thing as well you have to remember. It's like the Snapfire with Ag's Blink. You just go in, snowball, and suddenly the initiation falls flat. So that's going to be a massive tool for Boom if they're allowed to just kind of farm it up, and they are.
Adroit, what's the game plan here now for them, though? Now, what are they going to do here to come back in this game?
They've got to... It's a mix of things. So the farm is starting to lag behind, but not in a gigantic way. Like, the gap between Mac and Dreamer's Hell is just about 3k, which is big, but not big enough, although.
Nico, he tried to go in for a quick Iron Shell on the creep wave and does not get it off. FBZ is there with a sad trombone to make sure that, you know, they do feel the pain of Nico right now. As they go back into the mid lane. With that creep wave, they can opt to try for high ground. They also have a double damage and a Grove Bow on Dreamer's Soul, so he has a lot of attack range right now.
Oh, wow. It's very fair.
It is fair, Jonathan. It definitely is very fair. How is it every Drow Ranger gets a Grove Bow, by the way? I swear, I can't remember the last time I saw a Drow not get Grove Bow. Like, when was that, really?
I have no clue. I have no clue anymore, but it just keeps coming out. They even get the blink out now for Kesgut, so those saving plays are in. And tier 3 gone, they could go for around a map, go hunting.
Oh, Makoto, he's on CML. Loves going after this Abaddon while the rest of his team just focus in on the rest of the team. Mac, he's trying to run to get a good RP off. He does jump in with a 2-man RP, and now MCY gets in with the tricks of the trade, and they do burst down the Drow Ranger. It's a great start here for the side of Adroit as they also catch out Kesku. Good stuff. Onto Makoto they go. Makoto is probably going to be alright. Hyde looks like he is out scot-free as well. But that was a very nice team fight, and it just kind of shows you the power of the RP once they do get it off.
Yeah, and that's why Boom was so cautious towards the high ground. They understand that these tight areas are not really want to fight. They got caught out in a bad spot, although.
Makoto was chasing CML that whole time. He's coming back for revenge now. He might actually get him this time as well, and he does. Makoto unstoppable, but a great gobble up play out from Boomy. Locking in two. FBZ's trying to run away in time, and it looks like he will make it. Meanwhile, Hyde will just try to TP and does get out. Boomy was checking the tree line, but it was not the correct tree line.
And just those sets of kills alone has given Adroit a good bounce back in. They're not quite out of the woods yet, but they managed to stall out long enough that the BKB is up in MCY, so the silence is not going to be as big of an issue. It's going to be able to focus in on the damage. And again, boom. They are just so scared of fighting these tight spots. They have to be careful when they're chasing around like that because they were split up. They did not have Mikado around. He was chasing a different hero. They will have access to Roche, and this is where Adroit's kind of weak. While Wall's back up, but with no RP, they don't feel as secure in these fights, and Boom's just going to be able to abuse that.
Easy Roshan. No contest out from Adroit. Looks like they weren't even expecting this to be happening. So now Aegis and Cheese all on Dreamer Cell. They might try for a smoke here, Boom. Back note, Dreamer Cell, he'll just give the Cheese over to FBZ. Gets a few neutral items for his team. Of course, for the Drow, there's not exactly a tier 3 item that she wants, right? You've got the Grove, but what else do you need after that?
Nothing. For the most part, nothing. This is probably the best thing you could ask for the Drow anyway. So, gonna be sticking in. Maybe by tier 4s you swap it out for a Princess Knife or something. But otherwise, you're dancing with this. I don't know. Orb is okay, but I think the range is just so value for a hero like this. Allows them to safely siege. Now, Adroit, they're playing it right once more. They're just on the high ground, constantly clearing out waves. They know Boom has to make the move up. Boom has to be the one to take the risk into the high ground. And Adroit are perfectly fine with that. They're not playing against Mega Creeps yet. They're not really struggling, at least in terms of getting into their camps for now. They have enough room on the map to just be comfy, and they don't need to force these big fights. I think Boom is also okay though, farming up like this. Like the Skadi for Dream Result's almost done. And once you've got that, you've got a lot more stats. You've got so much more slow. You're mitigating the healing that's coming out here with Nico. Some of that durability does go away. So that's going to be a great pickup for Dreamocell. They're also inching towards FBZ's BKB. It is just a few more gold out. Not too long left for that pickup. But Adroit also gets to pick up this blink on Nico. So there is follow-up to the RP. And can easily pop the wall. And Mac just, you know, he feels like he wants to do it.
Don't do it, Mac. I've seen people do that pump fake and mess it up. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
Fun
It'll be alright. Smoke up, though. There you go. CML would be a pretty nice target for Makoto, and it looks like that's what he wants. He'll leave FBZ to get it while Mac will get caught out by this Batrider, and he just melts. But what a back wall coming into the RP now from Mac. Is it going to be enough? However, they are still fighting. Mac does die, but the gobble up is there in time, killing off at least the Aegis. Now Makoto goes MCY after Hyde, and Dreamcell has been left behind. He's trying to make a run for it. FBZ, he will kill off Boomy at least, but now he needs to protect Dreamcell, or maybe he just runs away. So Nico is still chasing. Hurricane Pike away, MCY coming in, but the Gust does not connect on the Ricky. Fusel Blade is out, Cheese eaten, but another nice vacuum is there. Dreamcell still just trying to run his way out of this situation, but Nico is not giving up. He's chasing him down. A nice Gust from Dreamcell is probably not going to be enough though. They still have the follow-up with the gobble up out from Boomy. They do kill him off. Onto Hyde now. Hyde's in trouble. He does barely TP away in time. That Ghost Scepter really saving his life. But the Vac Wall and RP coming out, and it does pan out.
Yeah, and again, Adroit, even at 10k behind, they're not quite out of it. They've got this amazing teamfight combo. They're actually landing it. So this is what happens. Like if you saw the game 1 draft actually line up in the same way, you'd see the same struggles for Boom. It's just that this time Adroit can actually do it. They're enabled by Ricky, who can stand in front. MCY didn't even pop his BKB. Still got a 10-second charge, so they've got that for the next fight. And they're just doing fine. They're stalling out the high ground and really playing with that gobble up.
Yeah, they got into FBZ, forcing out that BKB charge, and FBZ is trying to run. Mac, Cookie, straight out onto that Shadow Demon will mean Hide dies. MCY is starting to feel very strong in this game on the Ricky. Adroit, they might be able to try and fight back now.
Yeah, it's their time to shine. Like, the wall is up, RP's gonna be up in 5, they're timing it all perfectly. Boom needs to be a little bit more disciplined. It's down to the issue of who do you jump first with your lasso. They tried the Magnus, but they need to all focus in. They can't afford to split up and focus on CML, and the Magnus needs to be one at a time. And it's just so hard when you have to worry about that aphotic shield purging off your lasso, and that's the real issue here for Boom. They only have lasso to truly initiate with, whereas Adroit have so many options. They've got the Darkseer, they've got the gobble up play, they've got the RP. They can come in so many varied ways, and Boom, it's kind of a one-trick pony for them to start these fights.
It is. Dreamercell looks like he is going to go buy out that Eye of Skadi, but it's going to leave him with no buyback gold, which could be really bad timing considering they have smoked up on Adroit now. Mac going to show himself, does hit a creep. It's like they might have just given up on that smoke entirely, or maybe try to use Mac as bait in the mid lane, but side of Boom, they're not going to fall for this. Both teams are going to avoid each other, so neither side really feeling comfortable right now. We know Adroit, they can be very patient with their side of things, and we saw it last game. They were willing to wait on the high ground for a very long time and wait for Boom to make a mistake. Boom, they also appear to they're trying to be a bit patient here in this game number 2 as well. Just not rush into the high ground or a bad team fight. So I suppose is the way to play it for them. Maybe just buy more time for Dreamercell to just keep farming up. It is a drow after all.
Yeah, I think the bigger timing would be, say, an Axe timing on your Bat Rider for the double lasso. There is a smoke from Adroit, though. Looks like they are ready to go.
Still no buyback on Dreamercell, but you don't have a buyback on MCY either. And Mac, oh, the RP's out. They got 3 of them. Mac, the gobble up also to follow up. It's just perfect out. But now the lasso is going to be there on MCY. The buybacks are committed. FBZ just needing to run out of there. Perfect initiation there from Adroit. Well, with those buybacks that came out, it just really didn't matter. They could not follow up. Without Dreamercell on that drow, you just don't have damage.
They're slowly losing their lead here in Boom. It's down to 6k now. Adroit again feeling confident. They're getting some great item buildups here. Max already got his Silver Edge, so he's got another approach for the initiations, and it's just down to how these team fights break out. Boom has a lineup that's much more suited to single target pickoff, and they aren't finding single targets. Adroit's playing it perfectly. They're grouped up. They're never giving an opportunity, although MCY is alone.
He's underneath the Sentry Ward, but he will Blink Strike onto Makoto. Makoto losing a lot of HP there as MCY. He's not backing off, but the Snowball is going to be there to save, and the Gobble Up does not connect. So they'll switch around onto Hide, take the Shadow Demon kill again. And suddenly that net worth lead is down to 4k for Boom now. It's looking like pretty bad news here for Boom Esports. Just the way these games have been going. They can't continue to get caught out by these VAC RPs, but Dreamercell is going to be spotted. He'll get started on Mac, but the Cookie's going to be there again. Mac, he doesn't have RP, but he's hitting away on Dreamercell, who's getting very, very low right now. Still trying to run away, but the skill is going to be enough. Meanwhile, towards the north, MCY is also being chased. He'll Manta, Blink Strike. He will survive. Cookie, not going to be there on Makoto. Meanwhile, MCY fighting, kills off Kenskewed. Now the Mortimer's Kiss is out. Makoto's in trouble. He's going to die as well. Oh, Boom Esports, what have you done?
They're just in such an awkward position. They have no way of coming into these fights anymore. Like, Adroit, again, punish the clump up. They're never splitting up as 5. They're always playing as 5. Boom. Do not have anything to really take to punish that. Like, there's a bot lane they could try split pushing, but that is it. And now, with those big wins, Adroit get to keep shoving in. They've got 2 siege creeps. They're going to be able to take out a tier 2 tower, maybe go for an outpost play now on their end, and they're in a really good spot to bounce back. Like, the Drow is great here at scales, sure, but it's starting to show its weaknesses. They keep jumping her first. The Hurricane Pike of Grimacell alone is not enough. They need to commit every single one to bail him out, and that's just not feasible. Adroit, they're going to get to go into that Roche pit. There's an Aegis, Cheese, and an Ags ready to go. Boom is aware.
Gonna try. They pop that nighttime. Mac. BKB up. There's your RP out. So MCY, he can take the Aegis, and now Kesku's gonna go down. FBZ, he's trying to run out of there. They are still all stuck in the pit right now, Adroit, but it looks like they might just be fine to walk away as Mac. He'll eat the cheese immediately just to ensure he can survive. Adroit, they're happy to leave.
Yeah, it's still a major win for them. They might have popped the cheese, but in the end, that's pretty worthwhile for them. They get the Aegis, they get the Ags upgrade. They've got a lot going on. Now you have the Pocket Ricky, so you could just literally initiate with your Magnus or with your Darkseer very safely for MCY. This is now pretty ridiculous. They've bounced back, and boom, they might have taken too much time. They might have played a bit too complacent because they've been stuck with these same objectives for a while, and this Ricky Mag combination's looking way too scary. They've got to find a way to kill off one hero by themselves, and it's just so difficult. Like, they want to lasso CML, but that gives Mac the opportunity to come in. If they don't lasso CML, he's gonna purge off the lasso, and that's literally their only initiation. They need to find a way to fix that up. Maybe an Ags and Mikado down the line for the double lasso helps them out. Or just accepting the fact that FBZ has to take the front line with his crippling fear and kind of build off of that. It's just really awkward now for Boom to take these fights.
Yeah, that win probability is really dropped, by the way, John. 78% now for Adroit. It's always... It's been tough for Boom in these game number 2s, I gotta tell you.
Oh yeah, it's been a huge drop, and I'm not sure how they expect to take this late now. Like, the team fight's just way too big. It's the Magnus effect, you know. If you can land RP and turn it around, then they did. It's just always gonna be effective now. Like, it goes through BKB. They've got the wall follow-up. Now they were forced to go back from a little bit of a shove out. Looks like they're not quite confident in sieging high ground yet from Adroit. But again, they've got all the options here, and if they find a good pick-off, this could be worthwhile.
Could be. Mac, he's looking for an RP. Not going to be able to get it. They are just going to sit back and relax a bit, Boom. While MCY and CML can move in, but Makoto, he gets a lasso off, but it's purged immediately. Nico, back is there. Makoto, Nullify, gonna remove that Ghost Scepter, so he has to BKB and run away. MCY still wants to just chase him down, however, but he does blink. He's gonna be fine, but the Gobble Up, RP, they've caught Dreamer Cell, but the Snowball is gonna save the day for now. Still Nico and MCY going back on that Drow. They really want her dead. Meanwhile, FBZ trying to hold them back, but MCY, he's diving tier 3 towers. He won't be able to get him. Still, FBZ now going to be dragged back on the Night Stalker. It looks like he is gone.
It's the same issue, right? Like, you jump in, if you don't take out the Abaddon, then Lasso doesn't do anything, and then how do you fight? Like, there's just no way to come in. Boom has no way of taking control, and Adroit, in spectacular form, just going for more.
Nice gobble up into the smoke screen of MCY, but Dreamer Cell, he pops the Minotaur Horn and runs away. MCY still trying, but doesn't want to dive the fountain. Onto Kezcute instead. They'll get the Tusk kill. Things are looking extremely bad now for Boom, as the mid-Rax is going to be taken. And MCY looks like he's not quite done yet. He's after Makoto now. Not going to bother just trying to dive for him, but rather go after that tier 3 bottom tower. And well, they go. The Hex is there. Makoto, he's very low, but he lassos up. Still CML going to save the day with the Aphotic Shield into Dreamer Cell. They're getting dived in the fountain now. A great gobble up onto 3 heroes. Back towards the tier 3 they go. In this game, I mean, they have some buybacks, but it's looking pretty over here for Boom. So Adroit, they have made the comeback.
Yeah, they hold out, they managed to land the team fight. This is what we were looking for from game 1. They had RP, they had a Sand King, they couldn't find the angle. This time they can. And Boom, they need to find something. If they can find one key pickoff, they can turn around.
Oh, well, they might have just found it. MCY has gone far, but he BKBs and runs away. Still, FBZ going to try. Will go after CML and does kill off the Abaddon. He will buy back on to Kezcute. That Tusk is going to fall very quick and does. MCY still running as Makoto. He's trying to chase him down. FBZ, he's not going to be able to kill off the Snapfire. He's going to be fine. So they do defend the last lane of barracks. But with the 22k net worth lead, Adroit, I mean, you'd expect they just come back and go high ground very soon.
Yeah, still no worries. They still have RP, no wall, but that's not too important now. As long as you land either the RP or the kisses out consistently, you're in a really good spot. Adroit, I mean, they've basically got this. Like Boom,
Hide.
they do manage to clean up, but
Yeah, it's another hide kill. He cannot go Scepter through the Nullifier and does go down. And I believe they have spotted out Dreamer Cell. Minotaur Horn gonna be there, but they have the RP out from Mac. Force Staff is out from Makoto, but it's just not gonna be enough. He does commit the lasso to try and buy some more time, but CML will just remove that. Back onto that Drow Ranger. They really want Dreamer Cell dead, and they're gonna be able to get it. Makoto trying to run back to the fountain, does make it, but you don't have buybacks left. This is what we call GG, John.
yep, it's Mega's up. Your Drow strat has kind of fallen flat. You do not have any initiation, and yeah, Kezcute calls it. They understand. Really good holdout from Adroit. It looked iffy early on, but they managed to get active. They managed to line up their initiation. The combination of Magnus, Ricky, and the Darkseer, just a bit too much. Boom, it looked good early on. They managed to find the targets they want with the lasso. They jump in, they immediately get that one kill, get the numbers advantage, but they couldn't maintain it. Like, they take their time in the high ground, then that was just all the opportunity Boom needed. They take a couple of bad fights in that high ground, get punished. You cannot expect to win in a very tightly clumped up area 5v5. It's a Magnus and Darkseer, and Adroit do finally find their team fights.
Well, with that, John, we do move on to our final series of the night. And by the way, just quickly, I saw someone say that I'm British. It seems to be that people continue to get confused with me being British, John. I'm from Australia. Australia, not Britain. But thank you. Thank you very much for trying to guess, I suppose. We will move on to our last series. It is going to be between TNC and Adroit. The Rambulan is upon us, Jonathan. I look forward to it. It is MLP Dota and johnxfire. We'll see you all again in about 20 minutes for our final series of the night.